Shri Shuka Uvacha Evam Samprartito Vipra Swachakirsitam Evatat Chakara Nama Karanam Gudo Rahasi Balayo Shri Sukha Uvacha Evam Samprartito Vipra Swachakirsitam Evatat Chakara Nama Karanam Gudo Rahasi Balayo Shri Shuka Uvacha Evam Samprartito Vipra Swachakirsitam Evatat Chakara Nama Karanam Gudo Rahasi Balayo Mataji's. Shri Shuka Uvacha Shri Shukadeva Goswami said, Evam, in this way, Samprartitaha, being eagerly requested, Vipra, the Brahmana Gargamuni, Swachikirsitam Eva, which he already desired to do, and for which he had gone there. Tat, that Chakara performed, Namakaranam, the name giving ceremony, Gudaha, confidential, Rahasi, in a secluded place, Balayo, of the two boys, Krishna and Balaram. Translation. Shukadeva Goswami continued, having thus been especially requested by Nanda Maharaj to do that which he had already desired to do, Gargamuni performed the name-giving ceremony for Krishna and Balaram in a solitary place. This text has no purport. We'll continue reading. Text 12. Shri Garga Uvacha Ayam hi Rohini Putro Ramayan Surdo Gunai Akhyas Yate Rama iti Baladhi Kyad Balam Vidhu Yadunam Apratag Bhavat Sankarshanam Ushanti Api. Translation. Gargamuni said, this child, the son of Rohini, will give all happiness to his relatives and friends by his transcendental qualities. Therefore, he will be known as Rama. And because he will manifest extraordinary bodily strength, he will also be known as Bala. Moreover, because he unites two families, Vasudeva's family and the family of Nanda Maharaj, he will be known as Sankarshan. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Purport. Baladev was actually the son of Devaki, but he was transferred from Devaki's womb to that of Rohini. This fact was not disclosed. According to a statement in the Harivamsa, Pratyuvachatato Rama Sarvam Stan Abhitha Stitan Yadavesva Api Sarveshu Bhavanto Mama Vallabha. Gargamuni did disclose to Nanda Maharaj that Balaram would be known as Sankarshan because of uniting two families, the Yadu Vamsha and the Vamsha of Nanda Maharaj, one of which was known as Kshatriya and the other as Vaishya. Both the families had the same original forefather, the only difference being that Nanda Maharaj was born of a Vaishya wife, whereas Vasudev was born of a Kshatriya wife. Later, Nanda Maharaj married a Vaishya wife and Vasudev married a Kshatriya wife. So although the families of Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev both came from the same father, they were divided as Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Now, Baladev united them. Therefore, he was known as Sankarshan. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyutaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Pasandubhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. These two verses which we are reading today are signifying a very powerful connection and a very powerful theme, which is about uniting people. Before I actually begin speaking, I would like to take blessings from all the devotees, especially all the senior devotees assembled here. I can speak something from the Srimad Bhagavatam for my purification. Here, Balramji is just born, and Gargamuni and Srila Prabhupada in his purports also, and Shukadeva Goswami are highlighting one aspect of Balramji, which is the aspect of how Balramji is actually uniting people. The Vedic culture is a culture of uniting. The Western culture is a culture of division. If you study from all the scriptures, specifically from Srimad Bhagavatam, the Ramayana, many of the scriptures, you'll always find that people who are of a certain culture and of a certain background, they generally prefer to unite people, unite different aspects. And people of a certain background are very contented in separating people. The modern culture is a culture of separating, keeping everyone in his own place. Don't bring people together. Therefore, in the Western world especially, you'll find that two people living together is tough. Two families staying together is tough. Companies which grow, they grow on selfish interests of each individual, not on a united collection. But if you see in India, even though it's getting westernized day by day, but the culture of staying together is very strong even now. Traditional families, you can take the Tatas or the Mafatlas, so many other families. The whole culture of the family is to keep people together, whether it be just families or it be, employees. So when the culture is strong of people keeping people together, that culture can thrive, that culture can grow. And the culture where the prime requirement is of self-satisfaction, that culture will eventually promote degradation. And if you study here, Balaramji, the whole purpose for which he was born, here Gargamuni is very clearly bringing out a very unique quality of Balaramji is uniting families. Vasudeva's family and Nanda Maharaj's family, bringing them together. And very interestingly, intelligence has to be used in the right perspective. If intelligence is not used in the right way, the intelligence can actually create a lot of violence. And here, Gargamuni is very intelligently analyzing how Balaramji is actually uniting families. And he's presenting that factor to Nanda Maharaj so that whenever he looks at this child, he'll look at this child as a child who is uniting people together. One time, there was a Bhagavad speaker who was speaking about how the dog's tail has no use at all, And he was saying that the dog's tail, it doesn't cover the back part, it stands up. And it doesn't even help to drive flies away. Cow's tail, it can drive flies away. The dog's tail is not even useful for that. So he's saying the dog's tail is practically useless in this world. So, he was giving an example, he was using this as an example, saying that, people who do not use their intelligence for the right purpose, their intelligence is like dog's tail only. So one man in the audience, he got up and he said, I have a question. So the speaker asked him, what question you have? He said that in God's creation, there is nothing that is useless. Now, how can you say that dog's tail is useless? You should take back your statement. The speaker, he said, yes, devotees are intelligent. So he said that the dog's tail is useful. It's not that it's useless. It is useful to give this example that if you don't use your intelligence, your intelligence is like a dog's tail. So the point is that many people they use this concept of how different elements without being utilized it is useless. So in one sense, in this verse, when the birth of Balaramji is coming, Gargamuni is actually using his intelligence to see how Balaramji is a child who is actually uniting families. So when intelligence is used in the spirit to create unity, in the spirit to create culture, which is important and which is upward, then that intelligence is very useful. But if intelligence is used to create a culture which is downwards, that intelligence can be really bad. Today also happens to be Hanuman Jayanti, where in Hanumanji represents what Balaram represents. Balaram represents the Guru Tattva, uniting. The Guru is supposed to unite the disciple with the teacher. So the whole focus of Balaramji was how all the devotees can be connected to Krishna very powerfully. That was the purpose of Balaramji. So among his friends, when Balaramji and Krishna were with his cowherd friends, though Balaramji is the elder brother of Krishna, but Balaramji always kept himself in the background. And he always kept Krishna in the front and kept connecting everybody to Krishna. That is the role of teacher. That is the role of Guru. The role of a spiritual master, the role of Guru is to connect the individual with God. That is his role. And very interestingly, somebody was giving this example of a telescope. So in the telescope, you'll find that, how is the telescope become more and more powerful? The power of the telescope increases as a number of lenses in between increase. So the more number of lenses in between are there, that much you can see clearly, further. So it seems from an external perspective, if I want to see something very far, But if I put many objects in between me and that object, I will not be able to see clearly. But the opposite happens. When you have a telescope, the more number of lenses are there between you and that object, the clarity of vision and the clarity of seeing that object increases. So in the example of the telescope, the more number between you and the object, the clarity is better. The same thing is between the teacher and God, between the disciple and God. It seems that everybody wants a direct connection. In today's world, if somebody is between you and somebody else, the whole principle is stepping over. I want direct connection with the boss, or I want direct connection with the spiritual master. But here we can understand that the greater number of people between us and God, that much clear our vision of God will be. So Balaramji represents that principle of being the guru, but between him and Krishna, he keeps hundreds of people so that they get more access to Krishna. That is the role of the spiritual master. And Hanumanji's life very much represents that same principle of uniting people. Hanumanji, if you study the life of Hanumanji, there are so many things that Hanumanji did which were clearly to unite people. I'll take a few examples and we'll see how, even in this purport, the connection is very powerful between Hanumanji and Balaramji also. And so the first uniting factor that Hanumanji actually was involved in was in uniting Sita and Ram. Hanumanji united Sita and Ram in so many ways. That's a very interesting thing. So the first thing is through the sound vibration. When Hanumanji came to Lanka and Mother Sita was in the Ashok Vatika, she was actually on the verge of committing suicide. She had tied her, the braids of her hair to the tree. And she was, on the verge of committing suicide. At that time, Hanumanji landed on that tree. And Sita, just imagine if Hanumanji jumped right in front of Sita. Generally when somebody is excited, he doesn't think of consequences. Hanumanji is excited that he has found Mother Sita. He has been searching like anything. He has been, going in and out of Lanka, trying to find Mother Sita. And finally, what he has come for, he has achieved. Just imagine, you are that chosen one among lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of monkeys. You are the one who has found Mother Sita. How excited you will be. Hanumanji was excited. And in his excitement, if he had jumped in front of Mother Sita, she would have, hung herself very fast. Because she would think, Ravan has come in another disguise. Just imagine a monkey coming suddenly, in front of you. So Hanumanji was sensitive not to do that mistake of jumping. So sensitiveness, along with intelligence, is a very powerful tool. But when sensitiveness is without intelligence, actually one becomes insensitive. So Hanumanji was sensitive, but he was very intelligent also. He didn't jump. But rather, he gave her that thing which actually united her with Ram. What did he give her? He gave her the Ramayana. From top, he was sitting there and he was narrating the Ramayana. Very interesting. In this verse, Gargamuni is using this, Shukadeva Goswami is quoting Gargamuni, and Gargamuni is saying that Ramayan Surdo Gune, which means that Ramayan means pleasing, that which is pleasing. And Suhrada means all friends and relatives. Gune means by transcendental qualities. So here he is talking about Balaramji, who is pleasing with all his transcendental qualities. He is pleasing all his friends and relatives. But the same thing when it comes to the narration of Ramayana. The quality of the Ramayana it is pleasing. So Hanumanji, he was speaking Ramayana from top, but below Mother Sita, who was on the verge of despair, practically on the verge of death, who commits suicide? Somebody who has no hope in life. And here Mother Sita is going to commit suicide. At that time she hears Ramayana. And the more she hears Ramayana, more her confidence in life increases. This is the quality of transcendental literature. It increases your confidence in living. And, so in the middle of Ashok Vatika, a place which is filled with demons, a place which is filled with people who are, non-believers in God, she heard something which increased her faith and connection with Ram. So Hanumanji first represents the union of Ram and Sita through the sound vibration. So the first union which Hanumanji helped with. Then, of course, Hanumanji united Mother Ram and Sita in rasa, in transcendental mellows. When Hanumanji appeared in front of Mother Sita, Hanumanji gave her the ring. Now, Sita, the first question, when a wife is separated from husband for a long time, the first question she wants to know is, how is he doing? So the first thing Sita asked is, how is Ram? How is my husband? Hanumanji, you see again, knowing rasa, he is a brahmachari who's supposed to have no understanding of, conjugal mellows, of rasa tattva. But here, still, Hanumanji is expert in knowing what is rasa between Lord Ram and Mother Sita. Just imagine a wife is separated from a husband for a long time, and the wife asks somebody, how is my husband doing? If Hanumanji has said, Ram is doing really well, he is like very, very happy, somebody can think like that, that would make my wife happy, that would make Mother Sita happy. Hanumanji realized that will not make her happy. She wants her husband to be happy, but she wants her husband not to be happy, without her. So Hanumanji realized this, and he told her, he gave the example. He said, this ring, what you're holding in your hand, is supposed to be a finger ring. But this ring actually fits in Ram's hands, because Ram has become so thin, thinking about you. So that answer pleased Sita very much. This shows how Hanumanji was actually uniting Mother Sita with Ram on the tattva of rasa also. And then, of course, physically he endeavored to unite Mother Sita and Lord Ram, building a bridge, a 100 yojana bridge, 800 miles, 80 miles in width. Such a huge endeavor in 5 days. And Hanumanji was one of the prominent contributors in building a bridge. So physically connecting Ram and Sita through the means of the bridge and through the means of a fight. So if you see it from the perspective of Hanumanji's personal life, what is he going to get by uniting Mother Sita and Ram? He is a brahmachari, he is just going to go walk away, and husband and wife are united. But you see again that he is doing so much endeavor to unite a family. And on another level, Hanumanji was uniting Mother Sita with Ram in confidence, in building up her confidence. How did he do it? Very interesting. Hanumanji, when he told Mother Sita, so Sita asked him, who are you? So, one way of saying it is that I am Hanuman, the messenger of Lord Ram, and among lakhs and lakhs of monkeys, we were trying to find you, and no one had the guts to jump over the ocean. I'm the one who did it. That is one way of showing, that who he is, explaining who he is. But he explained who he is in a very interesting way, which increased Sita's confidence in Ram. He said that in our army of monkeys, there are thousands and lakhs of monkeys. And he said, there is not even one monkey who is less than me in strength, less than me in abilities. Each monkey is either more than me or equal to me. Now, if you see it from a realistic perspective, that was a lie. Now, there was no monkey who was equal to Hanumanji. Hanumanji is much better than everyone else. But why did Hanumanji say that? Because Hanumanji was genuinely, two things. First of all, he was genuinely feeling like that. That's the quality of a spiritual master. That's the quality of even a disciple. Genuinely feeling that I'm not capable of doing anything. I'm not capable of doing much. The others are much better than me. That is genuine humility of Hanumanji. But more than just genuine humility of Hanumanji, it was also the reason that he knew the mood of Mother Sita. So the confidence of Mother Sita will increase in Lord Ram when she knows that he is heading an army of such people who are much better than this person who came here. Just imagine the least among all of them came here. So what the best can do? So that increased the confidence of Mother Sita. So he united Mother Sita with Ram in that way. And then, of course, if you see it from the practical perspective, another angle to Hanumanji. He is much more qualified than Sugriv in every aspect. In devotion, in strength, in intellectual capacity, in analyzing situations, judging people. In every quality, he is better than Sugriv. But why is he serving Sugriv? Why is he working under Sugriv? Generally, in this world, somebody who is better than somebody else, he never wants to work under that person. he finds some way to go above, because he knows that, this fellow can't handle me. I'm much better. But Hanumanji still is working under Sugriv, teaching us a very important lesson that the only reason Hanumanji is working under Sugriv is because his guru, Surya, he told him, Sugriv is my son, is a incarnation of Surya Dev, and Sugriv needs help. And he needs a capable minister like you. You assist him. This is your Guru Dakshina. So Hanumanji was grateful to his teacher for teaching him whatever he knew, and gratitude manifests as action. And his gratitude to his teacher was so great that he was willing to serve under somebody who is inferior to him. That's a mood a disciple should have when it gets an instruction from a spiritual master. The ego, when it comes in between your service and your spiritual master, that ego can be the greatest barrier in your progress in spiritual life. Hanumanji, first thing he kept his ego aside and he served under Sugriv. And it's not that at every instance he was finding faults of Sugriv. Whatever faults he found of Sugriv also, he was correcting in a very gentlemanly way. He was not correcting in a way which, kind of put Sugriv down. But rather, he was encouraging Sugriv to do the right thing in the right way. So, Hanumanji was uniting Mother Sita with Ram in confidence. And of course, he was uniting Sita with Ram in words. When, Hanumanji came to meet Lord Ram, he conveyed the message that, found Sita I. So, he uses the word found first so that, Ram understands that he is found. He didn't use I first, he didn't use Sita first, but he used the word found first, which was like the golden letter for Lord Ram. And he united Ram and Sita in gifts. Ram gave a gift of the ring to Mother Sita, and Mother Sita sent the Chudamani to Lord Ram. It's very interesting, this is not there in the Valmiki Ramayana, but this is a folk story of how the ring played such an important role in Mother Sita's life. The ring is considered to be, people understand that, it's something that Lord Ram was wearing, and because Lord Ram was wearing it, it reminds her of Ram. But actually, it is explained that the ring reminded Mother Sita of Ram in a very special way. Because in the past, the ring had united Mother Sita with Ram. How was that? And this, no one knew. Only Mother Sita knew. The ring, one day, Lord Ram and Mother Sita had a fight. Just like any husband and wife, they had a fight. And Ram and Sita were not talking to each other for, 3 days practically. And, both of them wanted to talk to each other, but both of them didn't know how to start the talk. You always need somebody in between to mediate. And they had no children at that time. So naturally there was nobody to mediate also. So when Ram was, Mother Sita and Ram in the same room, suddenly Mother Sita dropped the ring on the floor. And Ram ran and picked up the ring and gave it to Mother Sita. And, they smiled. And that broke the whole ice, So Mother Sita remembered that story. And she saw that this ring had united me with my husband long back. And the same ring is uniting me again with my husband. So that got really fond memories in Mother Sita's heart. So Hanumanji was trying to unite all these two personalities in such different ways. And, for a sadhaka, Hanumanji, when he entered into into Ravan's kingdom, it's very interesting what we can understand from Hanumanji's entering into Ravan's kingdom. He practically entered into Maya's kingdom. If you consider Hanumanji as a sadhaka, he entered into territory which is red alert territory for a devotee. He entered into Maya's kingdom, but he entered with very conscious of his mission, focused on his mission. And along with being focused on his mission, he was very cautious of being infected. This is something that one needs to observe, that even if a devotee has to take a risk for preaching, a risk for some service, and he may have to enter into Maya's kingdom, but he should be first aware of why he is going, where he is going, and more than that, he should be aware of who he is and where he is going. When somebody is aware of these two things, conscious of the mission for which he is going and cautious of the infection that he can possibly undergo. Just like the example is given of a doctor, somebody who goes into a dentist clinic or a doctor's clinic you'll always find the doctors are always washing their hands. Practically 24 hours a day, at least they would wash their hands maybe 300, 400 times, depending on the number of patients they meet. It doesn't make sense. It seems they are, some kind of cleanliness maniac. What they are is they are conscious of being infected. So this is how a devotee should behave when he, goes into the material world, especially when he takes risk for the preaching mission. Not only the risk is needed because the mission has to go ahead, but along with the risk, there has to be a certain element of caution, a certain element of precaution, which has to be taken while taking that risk. This is signified from Hanumanji's role here. And on another level, Hanumanji and Balaramji are very similar in their roles as spiritual masters, Guru. Hanumanji represents Guru also, Guru Tattva, and Balaramji also represents Guru. In the Ramayana, sometimes Lakshman is considered to be Guru, sometimes Hanumanji is considered to be Guru, sometimes Mother Sita is considered to be Guru, depending on the story, depending on the lessons derived. And again, in the Krishna Leela also, Balaramji is constantly considered to be a Guru. Very interesting. When Balaramji was marrying Revati, so Revati was very high, very tall, and he couldn't deal with a wife so tall. So Balaramji, he pulled her down with his plow and he made her of the right height, probably a little shorter also. That signifies a very interesting fact that the role of a teacher is to correct his disciples and bring him to a right position, right level, where the disciple can accept the spiritual master as somebody who is guiding him, who's showing him direction. If the disciple is high, thinking that, I'm teaching my guru, then that's not a very healthy position for the disciple. So the spiritual master sometimes has to do the role of pulling down. And sometimes the spiritual master has to do the role of pulling up. That's, the pastime of Kubja. Krishna was, when Kubja was bent down, Krishna pulled her up and made her straight. So Balaramji pulled Revati down and Krishna pulled Kubja up. Which shows that the role of a spiritual master is a very interesting role. According to the audience or according to the disciple's capacity, the spiritual master deals. So some disciples has to be dealt in the way Balaramji dealt with Revati, bring a little lower. Some disciples have to be dealt in a way that Krishna dealt with Kubja, take higher. Like Srila Prabhupada. There are many disciples of Srila Prabhupada who would, come and criticize Jayananda Prabhu. Jayananda Prabhu was a very intimate disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Jayananda Prabhu was, serving like anything. But he had a defect that he couldn't pronounce properly Sanskrit mantras. He would fall asleep during classes, not very attentive in classes. But every time a disciple brought a complaint about Jayanand Prabhu, Prabhupada would say, Jayanand is working like 15 men. For him to sleep in the Bhagavatam class is allowed. So now, if a spiritual master giving an instruction that a disciple should sleep in the Bhagavatam class, it can be bewildering. But here, Prabhupada is in the mood of Krishna delivering Kubja, bringing her up. And sometimes Prabhupada would take the other instance, where a disciple would act very, very, seemingly to be humble, but Prabhupada would act like very heavy, knowing the inner mood of this disciple. So one time, one disciple came to Srila Prabhupada. Every day Srila Prabhupada would walk into one of the temples, I don't remember which one, and this disciple, he would stand on the steps and chant Sanskrit mantras, like full speed, continuously Sanskrit mantras. So he would do it day after day after a day. One day, Srila Prabhupada stopped in front of him and he told him, why don't you do something practical? That person got bewildered. He's trying to glorify Srila Prabhupada. The Prabhupada gave him an instruction because he understood the mood. So sometimes the spiritual master has to pull a disciple down to the right level so that he can advance. So here, Hanumanji also is in a very similar role of being a spiritual master. And Guru has functions at different roles. And those who are preaching the message of God sometimes have to act on the role of Guru, though they may not be qualified. But when we study the life of Hanumanji, especially from this story of Hanumanji entering into the Ashok Vatika, trying to give a message to Mother Sita, a lot of lessons can be derived from it. So first thing is that the spiritual master or a guru, somebody who is supposed to give a message, he's chosen by God. Lord Ram personally chose Hanumanji. He didn't choose, in random. He chose based on qualification. And how did Ram judged Hanumanji, with few words that Hanumanji spoke. The first meeting of Lord Ram with Hanuman, when Lakshman was there, when Hanumanji started speaking, the words that Hanumanji was speaking were perfect in meter, perfect in dictum, perfect in posture. Everything was perfect. So Lord Ram was impressed. He said, if anybody can be my messenger, if anybody can be my minister, this is the person who is qualified. Most of the times, tough to get qualified servants, because the servant, to act as a servant, requires a qualification also. It sometimes feels, that hiring somebody for a certain amount of money, you can get a good servant. No. Even to serve, it requires intelligence. So Hanumanji was chosen by Lord Ram first. And the second thing is, when Hanumanji traveled to Ashok Vatika, to where Mother Sita was, for what he came to give hope to Mother Sita, that the Lord is coming. This is the role of a teacher, to give hope to the conditioned souls. Don't worry, continue practicing, Krishna will come. The challenge in today's society is to keep people inspired that Krishna will come. Very tough. People over a period of time, after a few years, after chanting, practicing spiritual life, they get demotivated. What's happening? Nothing is happening only. I'm chanting Hare Krishna for so many years, I have not seen Krishna till now. Nothing seems to be happening. Here, we can learn from this aspect. The role of a teacher, the role of a spiritual master, the role of a preacher is to give hope to living entity that Krishna is coming. Hanumanji just did that. And how did he give hope to Mother Sita? Two things. First thing, he gave her the Ramayana, which is spiritual instructions. And the second thing, he gave her a gift, the ring, which represents the mantra, the holy name. So these are the two tools that the Lord used to give hope to Mother Sita. So the role of a spiritual master, the role of a teacher is to give hope to the disciple, to the student, to somebody who is interested, using these two tools, the scriptures and the holy name. And then, Hanumanji, very interesting the way he dealt with Mother Sita. When somebody comes to the temple for the first time, if you start becoming analytical, thinking that, this person, I'd seen him here. He was doing all kinds of crazy things. Like somebody was telling me a few days back that there's one man who comes to the temple regularly, but I've seen him smoking every day outside. And just before he comes into the temple, he smokes and comes. It's good to be analytical, but at the same time, we can learn from Hanumanji how he dealt with Mother Sita. Just see, at this point of time, Mother Sita had committed the biggest mistake of her life. What are the big mistakes she committed? Two things. First, she sent Ram away to find the deer. She found something more attractive than Ram. And the second thing is, she sent Guru, the spiritual master, away, blaming him for something that he has not done. So it's a blunder on Mother Sita's part. So Hanumanji, the first time he met Mother Sita, he could have opened that book, that whole story. Why did you do that? Who told you to send Ram away? You should have known the principle that you should not be attracted by material things. And more than that, you should have known that Lakshman is a well-wisher. He could have chastised Sita like anything. That is one way of approaching, somebody who is coming for the first time. But another way of approaching somebody who is coming for the first time is forget his problem, forget his crime. Deal with him as he is. Deal with him seeing his suffering condition. Deal with him seeing his separation from the Lord and give him knowledge. That's a higher level which Hanumanji did. And when the spiritual master comes into people's lives, the role of a spiritual master is to help the disciple or the student fight with all the bombardment that comes in. So Hanumanji, he was fighting against the evil forces of nature, which captures the senses and the mind of the living entities. In today's world, I've been meeting a few people, and interesting thing is that in today's world, to stay focused on God without being attracted to what the world is offering is very tough. Very, very tough. And especially, those who are staying in the temple may not realize it so much, but those who are staying outside, the kind of distractions and the kind of attractions that are coming in are unlimited. Maharaj, I was traveling with Maharaj in Rishikesh. In every lecture, he was making one point. It's very interesting. He was quoting, one professor from Harvard. He was quoting that how this world is filled with weapons of mass distraction. That constantly weapons are created for distracting people away from God. And here is the role of a teacher to help people fight with all those weapons of mass distraction with what? With attraction. Attraction to the holy name, attraction to the message of God. So that is the role of Hanumanji. And Hanumanji, he even tried to convince Ravan. And, initially to meet Ravan, he had to use his force. It is explained that Hanumanji used all means. There's a verse in the Valmiki Ramayana which actually says that Hanumanji thought of what is the best means for me to reach Ravan. One way is that I can talk to his, people, try to get me an appointment with Ravan. Very difficult, because Ravan is too arrogant. He doesn't care for insignificant people. Another way is that I can bribe my way through. Ravan's palace is made up of gold. How much money you will give to bribe people? Another way is that, I can make some kind of, duality, bheda, trying to get my way through to meet Ravan. Ravan is a dictator. When dictatorship is there, these kind of bheda principles don't work so much, Therefore, democracy, it can be very dangerous many times. And Ravan was a 100% dictator. Nothing in Lanka could move without his sanction. And how can he create a bheda in such a place? So Hanumanji realized the only way that can work is danda. Beat up people, And very interesting, Hanumanji hit Ravan in the place which will hurt him the most. For somebody who is a materialist, the most difficult thing to deal with is if his objects of senses are destroyed. The thing that he loves the most, if that thing is destroyed, that person wakes up. So for Ravan, Ashok Vatika is the most beautiful place. Even now in Lanka, there is this particular place where the Ashok Vatika is located is still there. And hundreds of people flock to visit it. Of course, they don't know that it is Ashok Vatika. Most people don't know. Few people who are native, who actually know the place, they know it is Ashok Vatika. But it is considered to be a very attractive place from a natural perspective also. And Ravan chose that place to keep Mother Sita, because he thought that attractive things may change her mind. She has never found some place so attractive. This is the tendency of people who are thinking like that. And it is a valley. So he kept Mother Sita there. Hanumanji, he attacked that valley. The thing that is most dear to Ravan, he destroyed it. Immediately Ravan's hundreds of spies were roaming trying to find Hanumanji. So he immediately got access to Ravan. And then, so this is the role of a teacher. Sometimes a teacher has to shake a person up to wake him from his illusory realities. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was very heavy, many times. And in his heaviness, he would deal with people very heavily. Why? Just to wake people up. Sometimes he would do it to wake his disciples up. Sometimes he would do it to wake up people who are absolutely atheistic. One time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was walking on the streets of Navadvip. And there was a very famous Mayavadi at that point of time, very powerful person. And he was walking from the front. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is known to, chastise Mayavadis very heavily, and people who were walking with Bhaktisiddhanta, they knew that something heavy is going to happen now. The first time confronting face to face, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when they came face to face, he literally slapped that person and walked away. So generally, you don't do that kind of activity. But sometimes a teacher has to shake a person so badly up that he gets up, thinking that maybe I'm doing something wrong. That's exactly what Hanumanji did with Ravan. He just shook him up so badly that first time in his life, Ravan actually started thinking that who is this person who has created such a havoc? So there are 2 or 3 instances in the Ramayana where Ravan seriously considers surrendering Mother Sita back to Ram. And one of these instances is when Hanumanji comes and destroys the whole of Lanka. He understands, one person who is the most insignificant person, when he deals with me, what has happened to my kingdom? And very interestingly, the way in which it is presented, that Ashokavan, the place where Mother Sita was resting, that place is supposed to be a place where there is no shoka. So Valmiki writes that Ashokavan became Shokavan. Only misery in that place. There were hundreds of demons lying with hands broken, legs broken, everything burnt up here and there. And so people are creating a civilization which is supposed to be Ashok. No misery. Material nature, under the direction of God, is going to shake up that reality and make it Shokavan. Make it a place filled with misery. It's only a matter of time. And the spiritual master's role is to wake up the person to that reality. And, when Mother Sita, all these demonesses, they were shocked that this one monkey is creating such a havoc. They caught Mother Sita, asked her, who is this person? Tell us, who is this person? Mother Sita, very interesting. How it shows Mother Sita can be very diplomatic also. Mother Sita told them that, I don't know who this person is. She said, in fact, even I'm scared of this person. I don't know who this person is. So the point is she telling a lie? Is she lying? She's saying, I don't know who this person is. Actually, she is in the role of a mother. The mother is very concerned for a child. And when a mother, sometimes to protect the child, has to lie, you don't take that to be a lie. And you can't say, this person is dishonest. No, that's the mood of the mother. Mother will do anything to protect the child. And here, Mother Sita is feeling, the mamta, the motherhood for Hanumanji, who is her own child. And she's protecting him by saying, I don't know who this is. And another very subtle reason why she said, I don't know, is that the fear of unknown is more dangerous than the fear of known. If Mother Sita said, I know who this is. This is Lord Ram's monkey. The fear is dispelled. So, Mother Sita said, I don't know, that increased the fear of these demonesses. Because they felt that here is something which is so unknown, creating such a havoc. They became even more fearful. And then Hanumanji, when he met Ravan, he was very impressed with Ravan actually. And he tried to imagine Ravan serving Lord Ram. Just see, what a noble thought. Even in the middle of the greatest, enemy camp, Lord Hanumanji is thinking how it will feel if this person, Ravan, becomes a servant of Lord Ram. He's imagining, probably he's imagining Ravan doing some menial service to Lord Ram, bringing some water, doing something for Lord Ram. So this is the mood of a devotee. When he sees a conditioned soul, he feels that if this person only becomes a devotee of Krishna, and what he can do for Krishna, that is the mood of a devotee who is genuine, waiting to help every individual become servant of Krishna. That's Balaramji again. Balaramji's role is somehow or the other inspire everyone to become Krishna's servant. And anyone who doesn't become Krishna's servant and is obstinate about it, Balaramji has a way to deal with them. Dhenukasur. Dhenukasur was adamant not to serve Krishna, adamant to serve Kamsa. Balaramji, he tried his best. But when this demon didn't understand, Balaramji, he flung him on top of a tree. So the tree, it represents, according to somebody who is a materialist, it represents great height. But from somebody who is a spiritualist, that tree, the higher you go, the stronger you fall. So when Balaramji sent Dhenukasur up, he actually didn't send him up, he sent him much lower, right? So a spiritual teacher sometimes has to deal with somebody who is arrogant, who is not ready to surrender in a very, heavy way also. And so Hanumanji was very impressed with Ravan. And, this is the best preaching actually. How to allow everyone to be connected to God in a very intimate way. Srila Prabhupada, he is a very unique example of, how he exactly acted like Lord Balaram and like Hanumanji, as a guru, as a teacher. The role of a teacher is to connect every individual who is powerful to Krishna directly and make him a servant of Krishna. And not act as an impediment in between. Many times, teachers who are egoistic, who don't have the real understanding of how the actual rasa or the principle of faith in God will come when people experience shelter of God directly and not somebody who's coming in between. Srila Prabhupada demonstrated it. When George Harrison was becoming a devotee, he wanted to become a monk in the temple. He wanted to become a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada told him, you're already initiated. Your name is Harisan. You're already Hari's son, And why do you need initiation? What he was doing was exactly what Hanumanji was trying to do with Ravan here. Prabhupada was inspiring George Harrison to feel his connection with Krishna as a son, as a disciple, as a student, on a very intimate level. When he did that, George Harrison actually thrived and became a much powerful devotee than what he could probably have normally become. That is expertise of a spiritual master. He tries his best to somehow or the other make a person who is powerful, influential, become connected to Krishna and doesn't come in between and try to use that power or influence. Hanumanji didn't think, if Ravan became my servant, what I could have done. Hanumanji's only thought was, if Ravan becomes a servant of Lord Ram, what he could have done, right? And when Hanumanji introduced himself to Ravan, how did he introduce himself? It's very interesting, which shows again the boldness of Hanumanji as a preacher. He said, Dasoham Kaushalendrasya. He said, I am the servant of Lord Ram. Bold. Preacher means doesn't get scared. He is in the territory of Ravan, surrounded by powerful demons, all hardcore atheists. In spite of that, he is saying, I am the servant of Lord Ram. That is boldness. And more than that, he gave different words to identify who he is. Very interesting. These are the words that each one of us as students, as sadhakas have to identify with as our eternal identity. He said, first thing, he said, Das. I'm a servant. He didn't identify himself as anything other than a servant of God. And the second thing he said, I am Ramadut. I'm the messenger of Ram. And this is preaching. When somebody identifies himself as something other than a messenger of Ram, messenger of God, he might feel that he's something influential, something powerful, something great. He has a great knowledge. But somebody who thinks that I'm a messenger can never become proud. Because messenger is a postman. From here, he takes it, gives it there. That's it. That's his role. So Hanumanji's role is very clear. I'm a messenger, but I'm an intelligent messenger. I know how to give the message properly. So Hanumanji, he gave the message of Lord Ram. Ram gave him a very simple message. But Hanumanji gave it in a very graphic way, which Ravan clearly understood. So that freedom of intelligence is there for a preacher. He can use his intelligence to preach in a way which is effective and the message penetrates. Hanumanji used it. But he didn't forget the fact that I'm a messenger. And he retained that fact. And that empowered him. And then he said, I am Vanara. Vanara means, he said, I am neither Ishwara nor a normal human being, nor a Nara. I am Vanara. The word Vanara has many meanings. But one of the meanings in this particular context is that he said, then I am not an ordinary person because I'm connected to Ram. But at the same time, I'm not God. I'm not a superhuman. He's very clear. I'm a person who's connected to God. And then he also said that I'm not Kamadas. I'm not a servant of lust. He's indicating to Ravan that you are a servant of lust, but I'm not. So this is something that we can learn from Hanumanji, that when somebody takes shelter of the Lord gives you the empowerment to handle the things that come along with that. So Hanumanji was taking a risk for serving Lord Ram. Just like, when somebody has to preach the message of the Lord, he has to take a risk sometimes. But when somebody takes a risk under empowerment, there is protection also. Hanumanji's tail was burning, but he didn't feel the burning effect of the tail because two people were constantly protecting him. The empowerment of Lord Ram and the mercy of Mother Sita. And because these two people were constantly meditating on protecting him, Hanumanji was not affected. That's the role of somebody who is trying to spread the message of the Lord. Understanding that there is protection available. And at the same time, Hanumanji, though he did so much, his mood was very simple. His mood was that I am not the doer. It's not that he always boasted that I am doing this, I am doing that. So again, when it comes to, just to conclude the whole thing, prominently what we saw in this particular episode is the role of Sankarshan or Balramji as uniting families. The role of Balramji as a person who is uniting people with Krishna, playing the role of a spiritual master. And the role of Hanumanji as uniting Lord Ram and Mother Sita. And Hanumanji also united many people in the Ramayana. He united Ram with Bharat, during the last episode. And he united Ram with Lakshman when Lakshman was practically on the verge of death. Both Ram and Lakshman practically were dead. Jambavan asked, I don't care if Ram and Lakshman are dead. Is Hanumanji alive? Jambavan not interested in Ram and Lakshman. If Hanumanji is alive, everyone will live. That was the confidence Jambavan had in how Hanuman can play the role of uniting people together. And so the contrast in different roles is personalities like Kamsa, their role is to separate. Personalities like Shurpanaka, Manthara, their role is to separate the Lord from his consort, the Lord from his devotees. The role of personalities like Balramji is to unite. Kamsa sent Dhenukasur to separate Krishna from the devotees. Balramji sent Dhenukasur to the abode of death to unite devotees with Krishna. Kamsa sent hundreds of demons every time to disunite Krishna with the Lord. But every time Balramji was involved, instrumental, uniting Krishna with the devotees. In the pastime of Kaliya, I'll just end with this. When Krishna was in the coils of Kaliya, Balramji was standing outside. He didn't enter into the lake to fight with Kaliya. Why? Because Balramji understood the mood of Krishna. He wanted to, kind of play a solo game here. So Balramji didn't. He doesn't believe in competition. Wherever he is needed, he comes. Wherever he is not needed, he doesn't come. And in this particular role, he played a very interesting role without entering that place. He played the role of smiling. That is the only thing he did. In the whole pastime, Balramji did only one thing. He smiled. But that one smile of Balramji connected the devotees so strongly with Krishna that they forgot all their miseries. It is explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that when Krishna was in the coils of Kaliya for 48 minutes, it is explained, one muhurta, Balramji was outside and all these people, the residents of Vrindavan, were suffering, practically dying. Yashoda Mai wanted to enter the Kaliya lake to help her, and she was going to die. But Balramji, he held everyone back and he didn't speak. He only smiled. And the smile of Balramji gave confidence to every devotee present there that Krishna is safe. Very soon, we'll be united with Krishna. That is the role of a spiritual master. Sankarshan, Balramji, the spiritual master, the Guru, and Hanumanji are there to unite us with Krishna, and that is the hope for us. Hare Krishna. I'm sorry I went a little ahead. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.